Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from September 11th until the 18th, as we have a lot shifting, changing, and evolving this week. It is a time to make changes, and heads up, these could be uncomfortable, uncertain, possibly awkward changes that you've already felt that are pushing you into new potentials within your own energy field as it's been expanding. So these are expansive areas of growth that take you out of that comfort zone and allow you to play with new energies and perhaps feel like you are a beginner, you are an amateur, you're doing something you've never done before, because the cosmos is saying the deep changes are here. They are unfolding, they are taking place, and as a result of these deep changes, you are expanding and amplifying into new parts of yourself that have been waiting for you. Your soul has been waiting for you to show up in these new colors and flavors and expressions. And if you can use that as a guiding light forward, it will help you navigate the twists, turns, and uncertainties that we are moving through here in the middle of September. Now, I'm going to get to the daily astrological transiting aspects in a moment, but there are some bigger overarching themes that I want to touch on right now because we are in eclipse season and we have the Pisces Lunar Eclipse showing up September 17th and 18th. And yet you might already feel like these energies are affecting you. And that would be accurate. And one of the ways you'll know is because sleep is more disruptive. You may feel that it's been harder to get that deep sleep at times. That deep sleep and much needed rest is more inconsistent. You could have some very powerful, vivid dreams that feel real and last throughout the day. You could be feeling that even when you are asleep, you're waking up and experiencing other realities more actively and regularly. In this eclipse cycle, we are clearing the subconscious. We are clearing the unconscious through these dream state frequencies and realms. And a lot is happening while we sleep. So in the areas of the planet that are dark, when you go to bed, those areas are also experiencing a lot more experiments, energetic interactions, many more artificial influences from satellites and various systems that are now circling the globe more than ever. Plus, there's a lot happening in the cosmos that is affecting us as well. So when we are resting, parts of our energy becomes more alive and clearer. Almost like your energy system is tuning in to what you don't see, but you're feeling and you're sensing it. And this can also affect your sleep cycles and your ability to rest or to not rest. This will continue through this eclipse cycle, and our sleep habits and patterns are changing as well. So trust your body's guidance on this. Trust what your body is signaling to you, especially if you need that downtime or that nap or that rest in ways that you haven't needed before. And when you are resting, know that whatever is coming up is working with you across multidimensional timelines. And it can be hard for our rational, linear mind to grasp it or to fully understand it. The Pisces lunar eclipse influence is strong, and it has already been activated through the ongoing mutable T-squares that have been unfolding. The first T-square between mutable signs was in August, where we had Saturn retrograde in Pisces squaring Jupiter in Gemini, conjunct Mars in Gemini, and then Venus in Virgo, creating that T-square configuration. Now, this week, the sun enters into place where Venus in Virgo was. So as the sun in Virgo moves through 15 to 20 degrees of Virgo, We are experiencing the T-square of change, uncertainty, flexibility, being open to possibilities, and reminding ourselves that we can feel safe, solid, and confident in ourselves amongst the big unknowns, even when we're not sure what the next step or choice might be. There's too much circulating. Perhaps it feels like it's very dynamic. And if you have a lot of mutable signs in your chart, this is natural for you. You're here for it. You're good at this ability to remain adaptable and flexible. The mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And they assist us in shaking off what was too stagnant, rigid, and resistant in the preceding fixed signs. So now we're entering this territory of evaluating with new levels of discernment what is best for my energy now, and how can you open up to that with a lightness of not having to require a definitive answer. There's a playfulness with the mutable signs that allow us to experiment. And when we open up to the energies, we also see new choices and options that weren't presenting themselves previously. So over the course of this week, stay open to what catches your energy, what might take you by surprise, but also show you what you didn't see before. This is especially the case as Mercury now clears his retrograde shadow on September 12th, where he passes 4 degrees of Virgo, moves into 5, 6, 7, and later degrees of Virgo, and the solutions present themselves. The process, the opportunity, the focus, the ability to focus on certain areas of your life might be easier at this time. Yet we're living amongst these bigger influences that remind us to stay agile. Keep stretching yourself, literally or figuratively. Stretch your body, stretch your mind, stretch your energy field so that you can move into what is best for you, even if it's not what you had planned. And that is another key theme of this week, is that things don't go as planned, but they can unfold even better. That's also a good reminder to travel with during the mutable T-squares, where you could feel off balance, that you have to put all this energy into 1, 2, or 3 areas of your life, and you don't have any capacity left for what you really want or what you thought would be a part of the agenda. There's also a theme of letting things go. How quickly can you let something go and set yourself free? Whether it's emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, whatever the case, how quickly can you move through what is no longer worthy of your time, energy, or attention? And that's where you're also going to feel a lightness open up, as if you are levitating and rising above and moving forward. And as I say that, I'm seeing angel wings, where you could feel like you're just moving with the grace of energy, and that's what is carrying you forward. And that would be one of the higher expressions of this Pisces energy. So we've got the influences of the Pisces Lunar Eclipse, the ongoing mutable T-square, which, keep in mind, Mercury in Virgo is going to enter into that T-square next week, as Mercury in Virgo travels between 15 to 21 degrees of Virgo. So it's not done yet, meaning whatever started or initiated for you back in August, the middle of August, is still unfolding. Information is still coming in, new insights, new understandings, and more to consider will be opening up. So the mutable T-square is ongoing and active, and is part of what that Pisces lunar eclipse energy is shaking up and asking you to look at. How much does this really mean to you? Do you really need it in your life on a daily basis? Is it truly worth the focus? Is it truly worth your time, energy, and attention? And those answers could be uncertain. They could come in and go out. You could decide one thing and then reconsider. So keep in mind that the more you're able to see multiple angles or multiple sides of yourself, the more you're tapping into your own multidimensionality. And as I say that, I'm getting the visual of this mutable T-square with all 3 points represented, right? Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces, each connecting to an archetype from a past life, meaning standing at each of these 3 points in the T-square. I'm visualizing 3 different figures, 3 different personalities and representations of your own energy that are showing up right now to give you insights into what you're learning through each astrology sign and its connecting planet. So for example, the Saturn retrograde in Pisces feels like a very mature, peaceful monk, very calm and wise and in command of one's internal world and emotional body. The sun in Virgo presents as the energy of being in service in some capacity. I'm seeing a very eager nurse that looks like the time frame is from World War I, and a very busy, eager nurse who is wanting to care for, support, and heal as many soldiers as possible. And then Jupiter in Gemini, I'm seeing represented as more of a modern day talk show host. Has a lot to say, has the jokes, is looking for the lightheartedness of it all, and doesn't want us to take anything too seriously. So certainly trust whatever you're feeling around these 3 archetypal energies if this resonates with you. But that could help you understand what you are working at multidimensionally, as well as giving you insights into the best ways to advance your energy now. Because you might realize that all 3 of these archetypes are letting something go with the Pisces lunar eclipse that you've been traveling with for lifetimes. It does feel that big. In addition to these influences, we also have a supercharged Uranus retrograde in Taurus, trining Pluto retrograde in Capricorn. And this Uranus retrograde is also sextiling Neptune in Pisces and is a part of this Pisces lunar eclipse energy signature. Now, I want to bring our attention to that supercharged Uranus retrograde because here Uranus is only 2 degrees away from Pluto. And this signals where you are growing powerfully. And it's quick and unexpected. And you might feel that whatever you've been resisting just shatters and falls off, it falls away. It's a disruptive feeling. Like if you were held back or held in within something, or you were trying to maintain a level of stability or trying to maintain something that you felt highly attached to. Now that this Uranus is trining Pluto, there is a grander evolution here and more awakenings come in and they can hit unexpectedly and powerfully. It's very rebellious and you could even feel like you're turning the energy against yourself, sort of like, why didn't I do this earlier? Why didn't I see this previously? There can even be an anger with a supercharged Uranus who wants to destroy or who wants to get the energy out, and it can be quite reckless. But with this connection to Pluto in Capricorn, there's a sense of powering up what is true for you. And it could be messages such as, I'm not going to listen to anyone else anymore. I'm not going to care what people expect of me or what they want from me. I'm not going to resist my own growth, my own power. If you've been resisting your own sovereign power, you're going to have some big messages coming through over the next few months, especially around what isn't true for you anymore. And this energy is removing your resistance to change. Now, that Taurus energy will stay the course. It is very dedicated and focused and steadfast. The Taurus energy will get there. It's not the fastest, but it will stay in alignment with the goal. And this is where you could have some goals arriving quickly, some fast developments, things coming through and breaking open. Again, the shattering of previous parts of yourself that weren't connected to your higher consciousness. Now you could realize, wow, I was limiting myself. I was too close-minded. I wasn't aware of other options, but more importantly, I wasn't connected to my own authentic frequency as a powerful creator of my reality. And keep in mind that this energy reminds you that you can manifest whatever you desire, whatever you want, and the universe can show up with unexpected solutions, options, and opportunities that you never thought were conceivable or you didn't think would happen. And this is occurring in the earth signs of Taurus and Capricorn, which is reconfiguring our realities, opening up new directions, new options, new gateways to walk through, and changing a part of our reality in a really big way. So this is busting through something, especially a fear, a limitation, or a blockage. So again, this energy is strong over the next few months. And look at what is happening for you in late degrees of Taurus in your chart and that final degree of Capricorn. I feel like this is going to accelerate some areas of life that have your name on it, especially relating to what you love, what you value, your goals, your ambition, how to make a mark on the world, how to offer your soul mission out, perhaps in a whole new way. This is very exciting energy. And I have a separate video for you on YouTube discussing this even more. And it includes as well how Neptune and Pisces is at the apex of this configuration. It's called a minor grand trine. So do check that out on my YouTube channel. And since we now have this Pluto back in Capricorn, we are returning to issues and matters in our lives that were very prominent last year. 2023 is when Pluto was stirring up matters of mastery, completion, powerful ownership in yourself and in your life, bringing up matters of work, status, job, professional goals. And as Pluto returns to Capricorn until November 19th, we are revisiting those topics and themes from 2023 that brought up fears, deep healing, deep shadow work, very intense soul lessons, and we're revisiting them, but we are revisiting them from a new frequency because Pluto has been in Aquarius since January. So for 9 months, Pluto in Aquarius has been shifting you and changing you. And as Pluto returns to Capricorn, you see things in a different light, in a new way, and you can approach them with a new level of empowerment. And I feel that that is one of the best gifts here of this Pluto now back in Capricorn, where you're able to handle things on new terms from a higher timeline and with a new sense of your true power. And as I mentioned, Uranus, that supercharged Uranus, trining Pluto, brings in greater clarity of what you want to change in your life. Big life changes are happening now. People are going to be surprising you. They're going to be making some wild choices, or what you perceive as wild, perhaps. They're going to move in new directions. There's going to be some transformations that are quite significant and exciting. So overall, this is great energy because of the trine between the outer planets and because Pluto in Capricorn is in a new understanding of where you're going next and what you want to take with you. And yes, all of this is happening at the same time. Everything I've described in this podcast episode up till now is all happening at the same time. And that's why you could be feeling so much. It's also an activation of your multidimensionality and all these different fragments of your soul wisdom and soul experiences showing up, which is part of why we're being pulled in all these directions, because I feel we're having new memories, new recalls of energies and experiences that are supporting us, as well as showing us, I'm done with that. I'm so over that. That's dead and gone to me. All of those energies are coming up as well. So we're very active right now in the higher realms, and we're feeling that in our everyday experiences. Now on September 12th, the Sun in Virgo squares Jupiter in Gemini at 20 degrees. And actually this Jupiter in Gemini is quite active this week because not only is there a square from the Sun, but then there's a beautiful loving trine from Venus in Libra as well. So the square from the Sun in Virgo makes things bigger. It's bigger energy. It amplifies, but it's interesting because it's occurring in Virgo and Gemini, which both like details, which like specifics. Show me the data, break it down, and help me understand it at a reasonable, logical level. So you have these two big energies of the Sun and Jupiter making the details bigger, emphasizing specific things you're meant to see and understand in a new light. And this can also feel like overwhelm. Like all of a sudden there's too much to do. There's so much on your plate. You don't know how to organize it all, but break it down into the simple essentials and priorities. The Sun in Virgo does well, not only making that to-do list, but prioritizing what gets the best of your energy and then what you can do later, when maybe the TV is on in the background and you're a little bit more tired. So prioritize what is presenting itself and don't allow that Jupiter in Gemini to take you off in all these directions and you waste time and energy on things that aren't essential. For example, you're working away and your phone is binging, your inbox is overflowing, there's a lot of communications happening, things are going on social media, or a lot of people are trying to reach you. That's the Jupiter and Gemini influence, where there's a lot of stimuli occurring. The Sun in Virgo is the door is closed, do not disturb, I'm focusing on this. I'll be available in 1 hour to talk to you. Self-discipline is important here. Put that phone away. Hit the do not disturb light. Do whatever you can to block out excessive interference, and that will help you manage this energy better, knowing that there still will be a lot to tend to. Then we have on September 14th, Venus in Libra trining Jupiter in Gemini at 20 degrees. And this is a beautiful energy of abundance, love, connection, beautiful communications, happiness, feeling supported, feeling recognized, desiring partnership, connection, friendships, good conversations, strong social energies here with Venus in Libra trining Jupiter in Gemini at 20 degrees. And what this brings up for us is to stay aware of what lights you up, what brings you joy, what makes you happy. Venus in Libra is represented by feminine energy. So the women you know, sisters, friends, lovers, a spouse, a partner, perhaps brings up something that gives you inspiration and excitement. This could be travels, studying, writing, personal expression. Very good communications are highlighted with this Venus trining Jupiter. So in your chart, you want to locate where you have 20 degrees of Gemini, as that's where Jupiter is right now. And in fact, Jupiter will be moving slowly for the next 2 months as the biggest planet in our solar system prepares to station retrograde in October. And so Jupiter is hanging out here at 20 degrees and then stations retrograde at 21 degrees and returns back to 20 degrees. So this part of your chart is going to be an active degree point for 2 months. 2 months where you have 20 and 21 degrees of Gemini. Jupiter is hanging out here and making the messages bigger, expanding the thoughts, asking you to tap into higher wisdom and what you've learned, to rise above the everyday and connect it to a bigger philosophy, a bigger understanding of what's coming in and what you're learning. That's part of Jupiter in Gemini, is that what we're learning is more supported right now. It could feel more encouraging with Jupiter. And there's also a level of deep spiritual growth here. And that's because Jupiter, being so big and expansive, holds a lot of our spiritual knowingness and what our soul's wisdom has collected along the way that continues to support us. So I feel this is a bigger deal because of how slowly Jupiter is moving. And then in the door walks lovely Venus in Libra, and she has an offering or an invitation, or she extends a supportive development. She brings in the right connections and people, and or she's receiving that. She's receiving those invitations, offers, connections, opportunities from Jupiter and Gemini that has been perhaps conjuring up some kind of cool plan, idea, project, story, or travel plans. And it's these two houses in your chart where you have 20 degrees of Gemini and 20 degrees of Libra that are connecting. So look at those two houses, because that's where the communications are going to be more active and perhaps celebratory. And if you have any planets or points around 20 degrees of Aquarius in your chart, then you are experiencing an air grand trine as Venus trines Jupiter, and this gets things moving. There's fresh circulation. There's new energy coming in. It's like breathing new air into something that you want to take forward and develop. So September 14th, a beautiful day for the air signs, as well as for all of us to stay open to what is beneficial, what is manifesting, what is supporting us. This is also love, romance, relationships, partnerships. If you are in a long-standing connection, this would be a great day to revive it or to do something special for your significant other, even to have important conversations, because that is a strength of the air signs, where if there's new adventures you want to have together, or if there's something you would both enjoy doing, this would be a great time to bring it up. Then a few days later, on September 16th, Venus in Libra opposes Chiron retrograde in Aries at 22 degrees. And this opposition is a reminder that even in partnerships, you're still individuals. You are each your own entity, you're your own person, and you're each going through your own experience and healing journey in your own unique way. Venus opposing Chiron represents some kind of separation in order to remember what you're working on, that even a partner can support you with, but they can't do it for you. And it's necessary to step back. So September 16th, if you feel the need to step back, either from yourself or someone is stepping back from you, simply trust that that's right on time. And it doesn't mean that it has to be a severe experience, but rather a level of detachment that you're reminding yourself to not take it personally. Easier said than done at times, but Venus in Libra is objective, and she can say, okay, yes, take care of yourself, do what you need to do. Or perhaps the roles are reversed and you're like, okay, I need to take care of myself. I don't want this to jeopardize this connection or these Libra energies. And yet I understand it's just natural. It's natural to honor where everyone still needs to feel independent without it harming good, healthy connections. This is important to keep in mind because this influence of Venus opposing Chiron is part of the Pisces Lunar Eclipse. And that lunar eclipse occurs on September 17th at 10:34 p.m. That's Eastern Time. So this eclipse could be occurring for some people during the early morning hours of September 18th. The Pisces full moon lunar eclipse is exact at 25 degrees of Pisces, 41 minutes, which we round up to 26 degrees. And that area of your chart where you have 26 degrees of Pisces is where endings, completions, transitions, and soul healings are occurring. This is near the very end of the full zodiac wheel. It signifies that endings are right on time. And I also want to note that it's our first lunar eclipse in a mutable sign since 2021. So we are having a clear theme that what we are changing is opening us up to where we're going next. That we are accessing more parts of our multidimensional frequencies and soul experiences than ever before because of these changes. And that's what makes them fantastic and right on time. That's where we are elevating and growing, and our ability to let go of what was, to move away from what no longer serves us, to trust the openings, even if they are big and uncertain. All of these are gateways into more of who we are and what we signed up for in this lifetime. And so the Pisces lunar eclipse can bring up big life endings of certain phases or experiences. Wherever you have 25 to 26 degrees of Pisces in your chart, that house is where you could feel confusion and uncertainty, where you have to dig in to trust yourself even more, to navigate through the fog and the mist and the haze, similar to a plane flying through a cloud, and you can't see anything. You can't see what's below you or around you or above you until the cloud breaks and you start to see things with new eyes and a fresh vision. So the Pisces lunar eclipse is going to bring up what is being removed or what will be removed, whether you choose it or not. This is a lesson in surrender, an opportunity to detach, and a time to let go of what your self-identity has wanted to maintain. Pisces is the energy of how we dance between our human physical selves and our emotional, intuitive, spiritual selves. And as the energies go up into Pisces, we rise above the earthly realms and we see things from a more detached, open viewpoint. But then we have to return to our human bodies and our physical world and our favorite coffee mug that brings us into the grounded timeline of the present moment. So we have themes here of how to have healthy detachment where we don't go into extreme escapism to avoid some of the harsh realities of everyday life, where we have ways to care for ourselves, care for our bodies, and take care of our needs without being overwhelmed or defeated or powerless. We can check in here on our energetic moderation. And what is out of balance for you? Are you too much into the everyday in your life? Are you overly focused on what is happening around you and within you to the point where you've lost connection to the bigger picture of your life path? Are you too ingrained in messages from the mind or the body and you're disconnected from your intuition, from your heart, from your feelings? Pisces is about compassion, kindness, and empathizing. It's also about how we give that energy to ourselves. So how can you give yourself more self-compassion and unconditional love that you're not a perfect person? There's no way you could be. You're doing the best you can. You're learning and growing at your own pace, which is perfect for you. And where do you need to let yourself off the hook because you're holding yourself to ridiculous self-expectations that don't hold any room for self-acceptance, self-compassion, and self-forgiveness? And the Pisces lunar eclipse wants you to focus on where you need to forgive yourself more, accept that you are a human moving through big energies in this lifetime, doing the best you can, and becoming better and more loving to yourself as you go. And once you integrate and reach that state or that place of self-compassion more regularly, where it's just a part of your self-talk and your internal messages, it's easier to let go and release things that aren't good for you, that are harmful, that no longer support who you are and who you are becoming. And I think the Pisces lunar eclipse is going to ask us to let go of more than we thought. And so this can bring up grief, deep emotional processing, the need to be alone, the need to be a hermit or to detach and find a safe, quiet place to reflect. And when you do so, you also then open up to connecting with more of your soul, your spirit, God, and the universe, all those energies that are always present, always waiting for you And you might have some beautiful insights here around parts of yourself that you're willing to change, you're willing to release, and you're not wanting to embody anymore. And it's going to be very important to listen to those internal messages, because also during the Pisces lunar eclipse, we're going to have Mercury in Virgo opposing Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 15 degrees. This is exact on September 18th. And this is where we can be too self-critical, too harsh, and more easily hold guilt or give ourselves messages that are unloving. This is an opposition between the mind and Saturn in Pisces, which represents your spiritual maturity, what you're learning. And even when things are hard, rocky, and bumpy, you can still be kind to yourself. So you might see where you haven't been kind to yourself. Mercury opposing Saturn is also when things don't work. The plan doesn't happen, the details fall through, information disappears. So on a more practical level, September 18th is where you should expect things to not go as planned. They will go sideways, go awry. It's not a good day for communications. It's also not a good day to have high expectations of yourself or others. So when we take all this and couple it with the Pisces lunar eclipse, you might find that you need more time to yourself this week. You need more internal time to process and move through what is coming up for you. Perhaps you need time to let go and work through something, whether it's big or small. Maybe you even want to check in on how you're moving through the 5 stages of grief, which of course is the legacy of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. So do check out the 5 stages of grief if you're not already aware of them. But note that it can be very real at this time. And it's something that you might even observe in other people as well as in yourself, because it's part of the human experience. It's just built in to who we are and how we're energetically designed. We are emotional beings. And when we can be honest with ourselves about our true feelings, we automatically are more self-accepting and self-loving. There can also be feelings of depression, defeat, powerlessness. Things didn't go as planned at work. Maybe it's something with a child, a teenager, that you're understanding more of who they really are and what this lifetime is about for them. And it's really different than your assumptions or expectations of where their life path would go. Perhaps there's an area of your life that you're ready to change at a foundational level, and then you have to take stock of what is no longer working, especially within you. If you have lower belief systems that limit your ability to manifest, or you're not trusting the universe, or you don't think anything ever works out for you or pans out for you, these would all be parts of yourself to realistically assess and also own them by saying, this isn't working for me anymore. This is not serving me anymore. I'm ready for better, and I'm requiring that of myself now. I also feel this Pisces lunar eclipse is deeply transitioning us into more multidimensional frequencies, and that means we're leaving behind more parts of our 3D reality and expressions in order to move ahead. So keep in mind that even though you're feeling loss, sadness, or lower energies and you don't know why, again, the mind doesn't understand these energies at times, but you sense it. You're like, I'm just feeling this sadness and I don't know why. I think it's a bigger collective experience of what we're changing on this planet. And yes, it's working with us individually, but we know there are parts of our human experience that we're never going back to. And those could even be some of the joyful experiences or things we loved and we thought we'd stay forever. But we're moving into new territory, especially over the next number of years. And so in order to do that, we have to leave behind parts of ourselves and parts of our realities that aren't a match for those new frequencies. I have a video for you on YouTube discussing this Pisces lunar eclipse even more. So please check that out as I go through the chart and add in more details and specifics about the connections that are happening between the planets during this particular Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. Now, one other influence we have going on this week that's also a big deal is that Mars in Cancer is squaring the nodes of fate. And this is happening between September 14th through the 17th, as Mars in Cancer gets to 6 and 7 degrees and will square the North Node in Aries at 6 and 7 degrees and the South Node in Libra at 6 and 7 degrees. And this brings up how you are choosing yourself, even amongst emotional tension, unease, fears of past situations repeating themselves, perhaps not having family approval or agreement from those who are closest to you. Mars in Cancer can stir up a lot in our emotional bodies around how we're trusting ourselves, even if we're on different pages than other people in our immediate space. And as Mars squares that North Node in Aries, Aries is ruled by Mars, we have a sense of you've got to choose what's best for you, knowing that other people might not agree, which is the South Node in Libra. But with the North Node in Aries, there's a sense of this has my name on it. This is what I want. This is my new start. This matters to me. But that Mars in Cancer is energetically connecting with the details you don't know, the uncertainty around next steps, even fighting yourself. Are you fighting yourself for something you want? And it's stirring up a lot internally. Now, this is actually a bigger topic, and I'm not going to be able to cover it all in this podcast, but I am going to talk about it on September 12th on my YouTube channel. I'm going to do a live on Mars in Cancer squaring the nodes of fate, signaling fated decisions, busting through old programming, old parts of yourself that relate to your inner child, that relate to family expectations, that relate to what you were taught and told when you were younger. Now you're choosing yourself. You're choosing a new path. You're breaking something in the family lineage. And it can bring up a lot where, yes, it can feel good and feel scary. It can stir up your own resentment towards other people, such as, why can't you support me? Right? Where we turn to our family and we're making big life choices, or we're deciding we want something, or we're just feeling good about who we are, and then realize they're not supporting me. They're not on the same page. What's going on here? So I'm going to talk about this more again on a YouTube live, September 12th, 2 p.m. Eastern, but of course it'll be available for you to watch after that, because I want to dig into this more because I feel like it's a really big deal, especially with the upcoming Mars retrograde. So we've covered a lot today because there's a lot going on. There's a lot happening. It's not just you. Know that you are on track. You are connected. This is normal. The bigger the cosmos energies is, the bigger we feel it. And we are entering into even more of our multidimensional realities through these bigger cycles. There's a divine purpose to it. There's a beautiful purpose to it. And if you can feel a level of excitement, appreciation, and gratitude for how far you've come, what you've been through, what you've traversed, and what you've healed, if you can really feel deep gratitude and recognition for yourself at a soul level, it will lift you up and infuse you with a beautiful strength that is actually your true self. Your true self is unbreakable, adjustable, powerful, beaming with high frequency light particles, and absolutely guiding you through this big energy cycle on our planet. 2 quick reminders before I sign off. One is that if you are a part of my 2024 Soul Growth Astrology program, you want to sign back in and look at what this eclipse cycle is bringing up for you. You can go right to that module about the eclipses of 2024, dig in to what is happening here in September and October for you, and get new understandings of how you're evolving with these eclipses. If you are not in that program, you can sign up and join it now for half off. I'll put the link below the podcast episode here, as well as the coupon code halfway to get that program for $22. And then the second reminder is that I have a course on the nodes of fate. And we talk about how the North Node in Aries is opening up new chapters for you that haven't come about for 19 years. And we also look at the South Node in Libra and what you've learned through not only relationships and connections and how you share energy, but how you communicate. That is a key Libra theme, how you communicate with other people. And as the South Node moves through Libra, it shows us what to leave behind that's no longer working and how to advance our skill set in these Libra qualities. So this program about the nodes of fate is also available. And if you have purchased it, please sign in because it's also an important theme as we move through September and October. You can find all of my courses and programs at mollymccord.online, and be sure to check out my playlists on YouTube where I have a lot of resources for you there as well. Thank you as always for joining me. It's a delight to connect with you through these astrological energies. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday with a new podcast episode, wishing you the best as we move through the Pisces Lunar Eclipse. And that's what Monday's podcast episode will be about as well. So I'll see you there and have a beautiful week ahead.